Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was last seen on February 25, 2024, in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and black square-framed glasses. Sebastian has medical conditions, including autism, that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, please contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838 or the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND or tipstoe@bitn.gov. You may also contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov, Field Office, Nashville.
Everybody, welcome in. Let's get into a few parts of the Lore Lodge interview with Seth Rogers, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' father, and a TikTok Tony, because I have a lot to say. And with that, let's get into it.
MonkieMar covers true crime stories, the missing, murder, forensics, motive, suspects, trials, unbiased, no filter, addicted crime junkie, MonkieMar. Leave the hate at the door.
After watching The Lore Lodge, there were actually a few things that I learned that I did not know. But let me say before I get into my thoughts, some of you people that are putting out false information, dragging Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, through the mud, Chris Proudfoot through the mud, that is not going to help find Sebastian. What it's going to do is get you into legal trouble. Some of you creators really never seem to amaze me. But if you have different thoughts, like I do, there's a way to go about it like I'm going to do. Let's jump into this one part on the Lore Lodge that I really want to discuss, and it is in regard to Katie Proudfoot's mother. And this is one of the reasons that I travel the YouTube streets alone, because the sides against Chris and Katie, the side against Seth, is absolutely mind-blowing. How do you guys take Katie and Chris's facts over Seth's facts or vice versa, when really at the end of the day, it is who you choose to believe? Me, I want to go on facts. What would be the motive and who would gain the most if Sebastian Rogers went missing? Those are the questions. Ooh, I am hot. I am going to go do some background check on Katie's mom, because I am definitely curious to find out what her charges are, because myself, I like to do my own research, as most of you know. So, with that, I'll be back. But let me make this very clear. I am not on a Seth side. I am not on the Proudfoot side. And there are a few creators that I actually like that are on one side versus the other. Me, myself, I go where I want to go and voice my opinions and my opinion only. Holy shit. I have found out a lot of Katie's background that is absolutely scary. I've heard the rumors regarding her alleged mother, her adopted mother. I am not sure where a Frances Suzette Rosenbaum fits in, but a tier 3 offender in Virginia. And then we have her ex husband. Let's discuss him at the end because unreal. Now I want to play a one part of the Lore Lodge interview, and from what I have researched, my spy sense to me, in my opinion, is definitely on point.
He's not supposed to have contact with Katie's mother. She's not supposed to have contact with children at all.
Those that know me know that I love to dig in ancestry and build trees and find out where people come from and maybe why they are the way they are. Katie's mother, Frances Rosenbaum, is a tier 3 S offender who lives in Virginia. Let's talk about the dates and her charge. So, the little bit of digging that I have done, and I am not done yet, regarding Katie Lynn Proudfoot's mother, aka Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum. Her mother was married twice that I can find. She married Richard James Wiswell III on July 6th, 1991. Clicking here, no children. So that tells me that Katie Lynn Proudfoot is not the daughter of Richard James Wiswell III. We also know from many interviews that Katie's father passed away during her marriage to Seth. Frances Rosenbaum and Richard James Wiswell III separated in 1994. And right after that, she married Larry Paul McClure, the man that is in prison for killing his daughter's boyfriend, dismembering him, and then marrying his daughter, which is actually illegal in the state of Virginia. But you are allowed to have illegal dating at the age of 15. Now, I do not show a divorce paper regarding Larry Paul McClure and Frances Suzette Rosenbaum. And I also do not see regarding any children. But Evelyn Susan Turney is the mother of Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, who takes the phone calls with Sebastian and then it turns it over to the tier 3 of Frances. It shows that it's both of their second marriage and they do not mention any children. Who is Katie Lynn Proudfoot's a biological father? If anyone knows, please email me. My email is in the description of every video, MonkieMar at gmail.com. Let's jump back into Lore Lodge's video, and then we will talk about a couple other things that I found very disturbing. And after we discuss Mr. McClure, the psychopath, I am going to tell you my thoughts on exactly what I believe in my heart happened to Sebastian. And let's go.
Gotcha. Why is that? Is that because of what Katie's childhood was like?
Yes.
Okay. Does Katie still have contact with her mother?
You got to ask her.
Okay. So I just wasn't sure if that had been something that you would have known while you were married with her.
Oh, while we were married?
Mhm.
No.
Gotcha.
She had no contact when she decided that she was going to divorce me. Then she started having contact with her.
Gotcha.
And then I found out that my son was having contact with us.
Let's discuss Frances Rosenbaum's tier 3 charges, the dates, and the age of Katie when all of this went down. On 6/12/2002, 61-8D-5, S abuse by a parent or a guardian, age minor. Now, this is a minor that will be 12 years of age or a younger. Katie was born in August of 1989, I'm pretty sure. So if we do the math from 2002, taken away 1989, Katie would have been 2 months shy her 13th birthday. That makes me go, is Katie the one that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum was abusing? I am going to dig deeper into this situation, see if I can find any court papers or anything like that. Do you think she looks like Katie? We're going to have to do an overlay. But having a mother like Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, in my opinion, says a lot. Now, let's jump into another part of the Laura Lodge interview regarding Sebastian leaving the Proudfoot's house and maybe going to Seth's house. But then they wanted to put him into a boys' home. I mean, let's just say it as it is, a boys' home. Before I forget and before we jump into the next Allure Lodge part, I did find a birth record on a Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum, and it is a very small, but you can see that it states her mother as a Frances Suzette Rosenbaum. So it looks like Katie took her mother's maiden name.
So when was the facility conversation? Was that 2023?
Yes.
That's 2023. And then you are getting him enrolled. He's good to go.
That was December. That was December, I think. November or December of 2023.
November.
It
Okay.
was right before he went missing.
Which is interesting because that's about the same time that Chris started trying to get custody of Faith again. Which, as you very well know,
yes,
I think factors into this heavily.
Well, then just locking down the dates. So the first time it comes up was 2022. You start going through that process, and then that's what you mentioned earlier, where after like a month or two, however long it was, things kind of died down from them because essentially things got better in their house. Things went back to business as usual, and then a year later is when they came back up. They started talking about the facility, things like that. Just want to make sure that we got that timeline right.
Yeah, and Seth didn't know this, but they start talking to him in 2022 about Sebastian coming to live with him. First CPS report was filed on or around the same time in 2022.
Okay, so the implication there would be that this conversation happened because a CPS officer or agent visited the house.
Correct.
Okay, so
we have a very detailed timeline.
Yeah,
that's been created that shows cause and effect from the CPS reports to the behavior and the family counseling reports, and it's a very compelling story, to say the least.
Yeah. So the way I'm understanding this, CPS incident. They approach Seth about Sebastian moving in with Seth. Seth says, yeah, sure, I'll take him, and starts working on getting him enrolled into schools, figuring out how it's going to work, all of that. School year comes. Sebastian is, I guess this would be the 2022-2023 school year. Sebastian is still with the Proudfoots. Things die down a little bit. And then things are good for most of 2023. And then at the end of 2023,
as far as he knew.
Yeah, as far as you guys know. And then at the end of 2023, they start talking again. We can't take it anymore. We want Sebastian to move in with you. Sebastian still can't move in with Seth until he's properly enrolled in online school for the 2024-2025 school year.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think there's a key piece of information there. So you looked into the online schooling from the initial conversation, and then when they told you things are okay now, we're comfortable with him going to that high school, then you had no reason to continue to pursue it. So when they brought it up again, you then had to go back onto the wait list to get him into the online school.
When they brought it back up to me, I had stayed in it.
So you did stay?
I stayed in it. So I had him already registered for the 24-25 school year.
But you didn't want to pull him out of school midway through the year.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they approach in 2022 after the CPS incident. They say, hey, we want him to go live with you. Seth says, yes, he can come live with me. Let me get him onto the wait list and enrolled. He gets through a little bit more of that school year. They decide, all right, you know what, it's okay. 2023. So you don't have him enrolled for 2023, 2024 because he's still living with them. And then you enroll him for 2024, 2025 when they approach you at the end of 2023.
Well,
Correct.
Okay.
yeah, the
Yeah.
calendar year 2023, not the school year.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So then the plan is that he will finish out the 2023-2024 school year with the Proudfoots, and then he will move in with you, I assume, over the summer, and then he will start with the Clarksville school district that
Yes.
you had him enrolled in.
Moving in May.
Got it. So I think that's a very important timeline for everybody to know about. Especially now that, of course, I understand you guys can't share the details of these DCS reports, but I think that is a very important thing for people to know, that this was a conversation that was not just, hey, we think he'd be happier at his dad's, but we can't take it anymore. We need him out of here. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about the diapers. None of them are good, and for that reason, I'm going to refrain from talking about that while you guys are on here, because I don't want to cause unnecessary pain. But moving into the actual timeline of the disappearance, because this is another thing that I think people have brought up. Seth, when was the last time Sebastian spent the weekend with you before he disappeared?
I have said this over and over. You can either believe what Seth says, or you can believe what Katie and Chris say. Me personally, all three of them are somehow shady in my book. But timeline, a motive, and who would benefit out of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers going missing? In my opinion, and my opinion only, I truly believe that Catherine Proudfoot got rid of her son Sebastian because she wanted to cut all ties with Seth. And obviously, if we go on what Seth said, she was actually having a hard time handling him at home. Was it a combination of Chris and Katie? I don't know, because I do not know all of the facts. But what I do know is Katie had a strange childhood. Also, when Katie was growing up, she was living under the same roof as David McClure. And most of us know who he is, but the ones that don't, let's go have a refresher on this psychopath. When Francis Rosenbaum married Larry Paul McClure, Katie was 6 years old. They married August of 1995, and I believe Katie was born August of 1989. So 5, 6, when the mother marries this disgusting monster and then puts this child around him. Now I'm starting to wonder if this Mr. Monster McClure is also a registered SO. Let me go and check that out, because we know Frances got caught. Who knows what else she has done in her life in 2002. Holy shit, guys. You cannot make this up. Let's jump into this article regarding Larry McClure, the registered SO who served more than 17 years in prison for abusing a young relative, is now charged with murdering his daughter's boyfriend and then marrying her. Larry Paul McClure, a senior, 55, of Pendleton, Kentucky, is charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy in the Valentine's Day killing of John Thomas McGuire, 38, of Owatonna, Minnesota. According to authorities, his remains were found September 24th in a shallow grave at a home in Skygusty, West Virginia, where McClure lived prior to moving to Kentucky. And remember, I have not found a divorce between this one and Francis. You cannot make this shit up. Tell me that this guy right here is not a complete monster, and had a role in Katie's life. That to me sends up red flags all around, because I have a feeling that Katie was not playing with a full deck. You can't being around a mother and stepfathers like this. I need to find the date of Mr. Monster McClure's SO. I mean, excuse my language, but what a bunch of sick fucks. Let me say that Larry Paul McClure is one sick individual. He was convicted July 22nd in 1998 for first-degree SA for abusing a family member between the ages of 6 and 12. He served about 17 and a half years in prison. The identity of McClure's victim in 1998 case was not made public. Amanda McClure was 9 years old when her father was convicted, and her sister was 10. And let's not forget, he is now married to his daughter, Amanda. Let's go back and touch on the dates of when this happened and how long Larry and Francis were married and how old was Catherine. Katie Proudfoot's mother, Frances, married Larry McClure August of 1995. Larry Monster McClure was arrested July of 1998. And on the record, it says the victim was 6 years old. If Katie was born in August of 1989 and this monster was arrested in July of 1998, you do the math. Unbelievable. This is a very dark past that Katie has. And I do not think that she had a lot of real love growing up. And in my opinion, that can definitely cause a person to probably do unspeakable things. Katie definitely comes from a dysfunction. I keep going back to the day that Sebastian went missing and how Katie claims on the interview within 2 to 3 minutes she was panicked that she could not find him, especially when she says that Sebastian loves to hide, and how quickly she called Chris with her saying that he has never ran away before. Why would she be so panicked? And then screaming in the street minutes later that her son was missing. That really threw red flags to me. She was the last one to see him. It just made me uncomfortable watching them at dinner, how she was so occupied with her phone and not Sebastian, and the whole day full of all those special events from colossal popcorn, bowling, a dinner, and making pancakes. And she said out of her mouth that she rarely cooked breakfast. Katie, where is your son? Because I believe that you hold the key to where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is. And I'm still on the fence. My spidey sense keeps telling me that maybe Chris Proudfoot has absolutely no idea. Drop your thoughts. I definitely want to hear what you think. Would like to support the channel? The best way is through my membership, and I only have one and 99 cents. And it is greatly appreciated if you would like to support the channel. But with that, guys, it is a wrap. Everybody, thank you for coming in. Please make sure you click that like, the subscribe, and the bell for notifications so you do not miss the next time we drop a video. Everybody, have a good day or a good night wherever you are in the world, and stay vigilant. I am out.